It's so cute. Take a look. Wow, that was dramatic. Hello, welcome. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm going to do a video I don't make very often, which is a repotting video slash a plant chores video. I need to repot some of these plants here. I need to take a look at some of their roots. Some are not growing, like this one. This one definitely needs a substrate change. This one needs to be up potted, and I want to not break my rule, but I just need to take a look at these roots on here. I need to take a look at the substrate that this plant is in. And so that's what we'll be doing today. We will we will also be, hopefully, if I have enough time, setting up a new plant stand that I got. And I was literally waiting all day for Amazon to deliver my package. Some plant pots in here, some self-watering pots, and my pressure rod. Hopefully we'll get to do all of this all at once right now. So I'm not going to babble too much. I'm just going to get started. And what I'll be using for this repot is my tried and true, my trusty, can you even see me? I have a strong feeling. There, can you see me now? My trusty Molly's Aeroid potting mix. It is not sponsored. They're not sponsoring this video, although I wouldn't mind working with them. This is my mix of choice at the moment. It works very well with my aeroids. I don't use it for all of my plants. I'm only using it for my Hoya and my smaller aeroids, whatever way you want to say it. I'm only using it for stuff that are in like smaller pots. That way I don't have to buy too much of it, because it can be costly if I'm using this on everything. This is also a soilless potting mix. So I'm trying to sort of get away from soil a little bit. That's why I'm using this. This is probably my second or third bag of this that I've ever purchased. I love it. Let me show you what it looks like on the inside. There are a lot of big chunks in here. Lots of really big chunks. In here, there's perlite, cocoa chips, cocoa fiber, expanded clay, worm castings, radiata bark. So there's quite a few things in here. There's calcitic and dolomitic limestone, expanded clay, horticultural perlite, horticultural charcoal, Rhizophagus irregularis. There's a lot of really, according to one subscriber, yummy things in here that my plants seem to enjoy. So that's what I'm going to use today. Okay, so I brought you in a little bit closer, and we will begin with this Hoya Crimson Princess. I got this a few, maybe months ago, maybe 2 months ago, if so much. And it could also be a tricolor. I'm not completely sure, but this plant is one that I got relatively recently. I have not had it for years and years. And I've put it into my DIY potting mix. I tried to make my own potting mix with, coconut husks and perlite. And I tried really hard with bark and all of these things. But it seems like I haven't quite perfected it yet, because either the plant is experiencing stress because of the repot, or it could be that it's not enjoying this mixture. And I believe it could be the mixture, because a lot of my other plants have behaved a similar way. Like this is new growth here that I have lost right here. I'm losing new growth. They're drying up. They're falling off. The new vines are, drying up. It just doesn't look good. So I'm just going to take it out of here and take a look at the roots without throwing away the whole plant in here. And wow, I lost, is that a leaf? Yep. Whoa! I lost so many leaves. Wow. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The plant was dying. I waited way too long to go at this. Look at how many leaves I lost in here. Look at how many leaves are in here. Oh no. This is worse than I expected. Way, way worse than I expected. Oh man. So many casualties. This was an actual plant. I lost this completely. This was making me nervous. This repot, I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous when I knew I was gonna do this repot because I know this plant did not look good. Ah! Oh no. So let's see what happened here. I don't want to say, is it rot? Yep. So I have some root rot, like roots just falling off here. So, but I also have some new roots. Like you could see a little bit of white at all, but there's a little bit of white root here. So it might have tried to restart itself, but yeah, not good, not good, not good. But it's funny, this is dry, like the roots feel dry. So it could be inconsistent watering because these roots are not very wet. But here's my suspicion. I suspect that maybe two things. Maybe I'm not putting a good percentage. Maybe I'm making it just a bit too water retentive. Or I think that one of the ingredients, I think it's is it peat moss? I can't remember, but one of my ingredients, I think had mold in it or has mold in it. And so when I make my mixture, it got really moldy. And so I think something's in that. I'm not going to say where I purchased it from, but let's just say I won't be buying that from there anymore. And even when they were sourcing it for me, I was a bit suspicious as to where they were going and pick it up from. Look at this. This is broken, and so it started rotting. I don't even think this will survive. That's why this was dying. Oh no, I've lost this completely. Wow. This is real stuff here, people. Real stuff. At least this is a plant that can easily be repurchased. So if it was a fail, I can easily find this plant. Like I wouldn't do this with some of my rare plants. Like, no. I went and I rinsed this out just in case, there was anything in there that I didn't want to pass on. And I could just propagate all of this and restart it that way. But I think I'm just going to pop it in here. I love Molly's mix. I trust it a lot. I've had a lot of really great success. Pulled the wick up a little bit. That way, I don't want the wick to touch the roots, but I don't want too much, the wick to be only at the bottom. Okay, so this much is in there. I'm going to, please don't lose any more leaves. So what's the lesson that we learned apart from this plant didn't like my mixture? The lesson is if you see your plant, signs that your plant is not doing well, it's not growing, it's looking limp, especially with Hoya, the leaves are getting soft, they're not firm. Like, see how soft this is? I shouldn't be able to bend this so easily. Immediately do something. I dragged my feet and yeah, the plant suffered. So don't do that. So that's it. That's it. This is what it looks like now. I'll give it a nice rinse. I know it's dirty and, messy. Let me just make sure it's secure in here. So that's number one, all done. Wow, that was dramatic. So next, let's talk about my Jose Buono. I love it. Every month I have to actively try not to include it in my monthly favorites. I love this plant so much. It dries out really quickly right now. It's a thirsty plant in my opinion. Now that if you look at its newest leaf, this leaf here, as beautiful as it is, but you can see it is significantly smaller than the one before it. So this is the one before it, and then that's the newest one. It's time to repot it. I got some new pots from Amazon. I will have links to them in the description box. I'm going to use one of these. Which one I'm going to use, I'm not sure yet, because I want to see how compacted the roots are first. So let's take a look. I gave this a drink this morning. Oh wow, okay. There you go. It's really in there. So no roots are coming out of the bottom. Usually that's an indication of it being root bound. Nothing's, let me show you. I'm too fast. Can you see that? Is that better? I'm sorry. I always, whenever I'm looking at my videos over, I'm always like, Stephanie, slow down. So no roots coming out the bottom, but take a look. We've got some really healthy looking roots, but yes, this sweetheart is root bound. A happy plant. So we are going to put it into a bigger pot with a pole. See, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to start with the wick, but I'm just going to put a little bit, start off at the bottom, and then I'm going to put the pole in, because I also don't want the pole to be too deep. There's no need. I'm just wasting the pole, right? And then later I'm going to put whatever I'm going to put in here, whether it's, I don't know what I'm going to put in the pole yet, but I will eventually put something in here. But for now, the plant doesn't need anything in the pole. So there we go. Actually, would love if this pole could be a little higher. So this will help keep it from leaning and falling over so much. And I'm so messy, aren't I? I'm so messy. But I feel like when I'm doing this and I try to be neat, it takes me so much longer to do it. So this isn't so bad. Pretty solid in here. I just need to tie it probably with a string. And that's it. So hopefully it sets nicely. And it's content in here. Trying to adjust it so that it sits lying back against the pole. There we go. All right. So that's it for this one. It just needs a rinse and to be tied. Just to tie it around here with a string. And I think it'll be fine. I'm going to try not to break my rule here. Well, no promises. Is this Hoya Hushkiliana? My recommendation for new Hoya is to try not to repot it when you get it. And it goes against my major rules, because I always think repotting as soon as you get a plant is a great way to reduce pests. And that's like one of my biggest concerns when it comes to plants. But I've noticed Hoya, they get set back when you repot them. I bought this from Crystal Star Nursery. I don't know what's in here. So there's just a bunch of sphagnum moss at the top, but I don't know what's inside. It seems like it's like their magic mix, I think it's called, which is like an aeroid mix, which is very chunky. It doesn't retain a lot of moisture. It's even chunkier and less water retentive than the Molly's aeroid mix. And so I'm not familiar with this mixture, although it's very similar to Molly's, but I think it dries out so much faster. And I'm scared to do something wrong here. So I just want to peek, just look under the hood to see what's in here. Wow, this is very chunky. This is all chunk. It's still a little damp, so I watered it, I believe, yesterday. I'm going to try to ever so gently bring it to you. So no pests, thankfully. So here's what I will do. I'll break my rule, but technically I didn't break my rule completely because I've had this for maybe almost a month now, or maybe almost a month, and I didn't repot it, see? But I'm going to try to hang on to a little bit of this, not to disturb the roots at all. I just want to put it in a self-watering setup. Someone is probably out there saying, Stephanie, no! You know that those reels of people looking at themselves doing something and then their future selves at the door like, no, don't do it, don't do it. I'm probably on the back of this door. My future self is like banging on the door or on the window. Don't do it, Stephanie. But I'm like, la da 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 da. I'm doing it yet again, breaking my own rule of repotting. But I waited a month. Right? And I'm just going to put a little bit of mollies. Well, I know for sure this doesn't have any pests because I've had it for a month and nothing has crawled out of it except fungus gnats, which I'm pretty sure probably came from my collection. And I'm going to pop this in here. So this is all I did. This is how much mollies is at the base. I'm going to pop this in here. Look at how cute this is. It's so cute. So cute. But yes. Should I put mollies or should I put the mix back in there? So I'm going to call it and I'm going to put its stuff back in. You're going back in with your same stuff. See? You can't complain. I believe we are done. Eventually, I could probably shimmy a trellis in here at some point. A very fine trellis. But I think I am going to just let this plant be for now. In its adorable little pot, I should say, but it looks like a cup, doesn't it? There we go. So cute. Is your repotting as chaotic as mine? Mine is always chaotic. That's why I don't film this video very much. But if you liked this video, if you're liking it, if you're enjoying it, give it a thumbs up and let me know that you're enjoying this repotting video, and then maybe I'll post some more. But yeah. So yes, again, this is my Crimson Queen. No new growth lately. And it's true that Hoya tend to grow and stop and grow and stop and grow and stop. But I feel like a healthy Hoya should be doing something. So either it's vining or it's pushing out a new leaf or the current leaves are getting bigger. And this isn't quite doing anything that I have noticed so far. And I've been watching it for a long time. So nothing has happened. When I say a long time, I mean like maybe a month and a half. So I'm going to take a look at those roots. So it's currently in pon. And another reason is because I'm not confident in pon. I'm not confident using pon. So that's why I want to double check instead of assuming that everything's fine, because we saw what happened with my last plant when I waited too long. Although there are some very slight signs of rot, just very mild, nothing, dramatic, just like the roots may have touched the water in some places where it wasn't quite ready to do so as yet. It's not terribly rotted, but if I had left it for too much longer, it might have. And I think it's because I remember when I was putting this in pon, I couldn't get like some of the soil, I just couldn't get some of the soil off. And I think that's what's causing the rot there, the little bit of rot that it has. So anyways, I'm going to, what I always say not to do, right? Which is good, like trouble your Hoya, try not to repot it too often, because repotting your Hoya does slow them down. But because Hoya, like I said a million times, I feel like I'm still new when it comes to Hoya, and I'm new to pon. And so I'm still learning things. So what am I doing now? I am removing the pon because I'm going to put it into the mollies mix. I think moving a plant from aeroid mix to pon is way more challenging for the plant to overcome than going from pon to aeroid mix. That's my opinion. I'll put this in here. There we go. So put this in here. And all right. She's gonna get a rinse and she'll be fine. Okay, let's do a quick unboxing. Oops. I should have probably done it a bit more carefully in case I needed to return it. These are the shelves, so they'll attach to the pole, and these are the plant shelves. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 shelves. These are the poles, and these are like for hanging baskets, so they can attach to the poles and hang off like this. And then here are the poles. Here are the bases for the pressure rods, these for the top, and then some for at the bottom. Like, I know it's not completely full. I know that every shelf isn't full, but I'm putting plants here based on their needs. I'm not really, my goal is not to fill in every single shelf. It's sort of to ease the pressure off of some parts of my home, so that it doesn't look like plants are sort of clustered in one area, just to help spread out my plants a little bit more. So this is what it looks like for now. This, if you're a plant lover, you know that plants get moved around sometimes almost daily. So this will change as the days and weeks go by. But this is what I have for now. At the tippy top is my Philodendron Brazil. And I put this here because it was on my piano before and it's trailing. And it would not get, if I left it there, it would not have gotten the light that it needed on the lower leaves. And so here it's able to get some light from the window as it continues to trail, and as it keeps going down, hopefully it would look nice and lush and beautiful and just fill in this space a little bit. So that's what I have there. On the next tier I have my Hoya Australis Salisa and a Hoya Sigillatis. I can never say this right. I always say Sigitalis, but I think it's Sigillatis. splash. This is its first leaf that it's given me, its newest leaf. I'm very excited. It's one of the few plants that actually like my potting mix. And below that on the next stair is my Hoya New Guinea Ghost and my Hoya Nova Ghost. Finally, my Nova Ghost is getting some new leaves. That'll probably be in an update video soon. And then down here, I have my Hoya DS70. And this one is, again, another one of the few plants that actually like my soilless potting mix. So not my aeroid potting mix that I've made for many of my plants and they love, but my soilless potting mix that I'm trying to perfect. This one actually likes it. It has so much new growth here and I'm thrilled about that. But anyways, it's been living in a west facing window downstairs. So I know it's going to love this west facing window. I don't know if I ever said that this is west facing, but it is. I think it'll love it now that it's even higher and it's going to have a longer time with bright sunlight versus downstairs is blocked by this house there. So it had fewer minutes or hours, I don't know, of direct sunlight as the sunset. And then over here, right next to it, I have my Hoya Silver Dollar. And this has been growing for a few weeks, maybe if not a few months, downstairs under my grow light, and it has done nothing. But when I had it in my south facing window in the winter when or maybe in the spring when the sun was lower, it grew these new leaves. So I have a strong feeling that this plant likes, some of my Hoya I've noticed like direct sunlight. They like natural, they like ambient light. They don't like the grow lights I have. They want the real deal. And so I'm going to put this here and we'll see how it responds in this area. And here I have my beloved Hoya Hushkiliana right next to it. Before it was in a southwest window where it would have gotten even more light than it's getting here, but I think it'll still be happy right here. The reason it's not where it was is because I don't have anything to sort. I guess I could do something, but I think for now I'm just going to leave it here. I think it will be fine. I think right here it will get enough light. I don't have anything on here right now. I know I can hang stuff on here, but nothing for now. I don't want to scare my husband because if this looks too cluttered, I think he'll be like, I don't like it. So I just want to also respect his space as well. And on the tippy top, I have a Hoya reverted Hoya Wilbur Graves China. And the objective here, because it's reverted, there's not a lot of splashing on it. Let's see if I can get a better angle here. And I'm hoping that it will eventually cling on to the pole here and maybe grow along the pole. That'll be nice. And down here, I did so much repotting off camera because it would take so long if I tried to do it all on camera. I contemplated just leaving the camera and let it record, but I'm not sure how many of you would enjoy that content. But yes, this is my Hoya, my Philodendron Florida Ghost, and I took it out of the tiny little planter that it was in, a pot, and I put it in here because I needed to put it in an area with more light, and this has more light than its previous location. My Tradescantia is over here in the corner, looking nice, trailing off the side. It was in my south window, but if you could see, I'm not sure if you could see, but if you look carefully, that's what I'm trying to say with so many words. It looks a bit burnt. It looks it looks a bit burnt and a bit tired. It was getting way too much light there. So I have a feeling here in this west window, I think this might be a better fit and it will slow down its growth a little bit more. So that's the objective. Then on this lower shelf here, I just have some Hoya Coriaceae silver propagations. Yeah, I had to chop up my main plant, but that's okay. That's for another video. And down below it, I have my Scindapsus Trubii Moonlight. I put it down here because I believe it doesn't need as much light as it's getting. I think I've already said that. And I sort of put it to grow upwards, to vine upwards. So I think I might just make it work its way up this pole because I've noticed when when the leaves feel like they're pointing upwards, like with many plants, they size up a bit. So that's my goal there. And then let it, go along the pole. But that's what this looks like for now. I'm happy with the final product. Um, and hopefully it gets to stay this way. Hopefully my husband likes his little office makeover. Also, a plant that took part in my repotting madness was my philodendron ring of fire. It was in a square pot, and I put it in a bigger pot in this round self-watering pot. It's doing well, pushing out this new growth, but obviously all of that was happening before I repotted it today, and it seems to be growing well, and hopefully it can continue to grow well with this change. And the reason I did that is because I needed its smaller pot for my philodendron Florida Beauty. And I knew that because this plant is relatively fast growing, I knew that the roots would have been very established, and probably I would have needed to repot it anyways in maybe 3 months or so. It was getting there. And so maybe even less than that. So it was a good call to make that change. This is the Florida Beauty now in its new setup in the rectangle, or sorry, I keep wanting to say rectangular, but in the square pot that the silver, sorry, I can't remember the name, but the other plant was in. I'm tired now. I've done a lot of work, but I wanted to put this in self-watering because with this plant, I definitely want to take the guessing game out of watering it. I've been doing well so far, but I honestly don't want to keep guessing. It's in Molly's Aeroid Mix, and I think that's what's saving me. And I'm going to depend on that in addition to a self-watering pot. Before it wasn't in a pot, it was just in like a cup. But yeah, it's looking good. Time to go back under my grow lights. Thank you for watching today's video. I appreciate you spending some of your day with me. If you liked this video, you may like these other videos here, and you can subscribe by clicking here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.